Majo John Madden, Juanito, sitting on my back porch in the suburbs of Asheville. And I want to make some comments about how we relate to ourselves. Because everything in how we relate to others comes from how we relate to ourselves. That's the starting point. 6 years ago, I'm coming up on my anniversary of when the word I used is woke up. I woke up on June 26th of 2019. And what does that mean? I did not know what it meant. I knew that I suddenly got happy after 30 years of psychiatrically induced depression because they gave me a label that taught me to hate myself and gave me drugs that made it impossible for me to heal. So 30 years. It started with the revisiting of sex abuse memories that I had long suppressed. Since sometime after I was 10 years old, I suppressed it all. And in my early 40s, it came back. And I, a psychologist and not an introvert, an extrovert, but a deep thinker, and someone who had already worked a lot of personal growth paths, to discover that there was all this terrible, terrible, terrible stuff inside me that I didn't know was there and had obviously been driving me and keeping me hyper and trying too hard. I was afraid of my insides. I was afraid of my own feelings for a long time. Then when that stuff had mostly been aired out, at least, not completely processed, I became afraid of the diagnosis. I learned, they taught me to not like myself. I had always been upbeat and pretty positive about myself, too intense, certainly, but pretty bullish on myself, tending to like myself, but inside still I had been taught to believe that I was evil, that the sex abuse was my fault, that there was something about my sexuality that was terrible. And the Catholic Church had taught me that God could hate you so much that they would do terrible things to you. And I say they, because who knows, you know. So, yeah. So I was afraid of my insides, afraid of my own feelings, afraid of my impulses towards suicide, which were always over my shoulder for 30 years. I wanted to end it all so badly because I was in so much pain and my life sucked. And in many ways, I kept soldiering on and creating good experiences and working on myself and doing personal growth stuff and doing meditation stuff, but always this close to suicide until June 26th of 2019. Now, lately I've been trying to examine, well, what changed? I like to say I got fearless, and it used to feel like that was true. Like, when was the last time I was scared of anything or anybody? But I've been hit with this terrible medical condition, complete renal shutdown, and 3 possible cancers, 3 likely cancers. And when I start to sweat at night, it does feel like there's cancer working in my system. So the wheels of medicine, even back here in Asheville where there's good medicine, grind so slowly that the MRI company has still not called me to get my MRI. 2 weeks after I saw my doctor, and they said it'll take about 2 weeks for them to even call you to schedule your MRI. Hasn't happened yet, so I don't know. So I've had some really hard times, and I've been homeless a lot. I just spent 3 nights homeless, which was really, really tough. And in the middle of homelessness, have I ever thought I wished I could just die? Yeah, I have. Here and back on Cozumel Island, 12 nights homeless, yes. I thought, oh, just to swim out into the ocean and let it be over. Not so much of an option here, but I have thought about, you could jump off this bridge, you could do that. There are not as many good options if you can't get a hold of a gun. And that's not a great option either. But I've been reviewing them. There have been times I've reviewed them. But as soon as I get off the street and get a chance to rest a little, that goes away. And It's always been theoretical. And it's never been from being angry at myself. So what has changed irrevocably is not discouragement, because I get discouraged, is not fear, because times on the street by myself, I literally have been scared of my own shadow. When the lighting changed and suddenly my shadow moved, I've jumped or close to jump. So I'm capable of fear still. What I think has never, ever budged once, ever, is being mad at myself. I never get mad at myself. I will say, you bonehead, and tease myself, but I don't, if I feel like I've hurt someone, I will absolutely apologize. And this morning, this is a great example, because this morning I had been laying awake in my bed. I have a really comfortable sofa here, really comfortable, and it's really quiet. And I've spent most of my time the last 3 months in hospitals or nursing, it's a nursing home, the rehab, where nurses run the show and the schedule. You don't own the schedule, and you cannot sleep in. Forget that. But here I could. It was quiet and comfortable. So I was doing that. Unbeknownst to me, too tired last night. I guess I was just too tired when I went to bed. I had not closed my catheter bag correctly. My catheter bag is inside that gray bag, and there's a little button that has to be pushed closed, or the pee leaks out of the catheter bag. And the catheter bag was laying in that gray sheath on the floor next to me last night. And my whole hour that I was in reverie this morning, trying to decide to get up or not, there was a lagoon of pee next to the bed. It had not gone under the bed, praise God, but it was laying there next to the bed, and it had drained there over the course of 8 hours, 9 hours, I think. No, 6 hours of sleep, something like that. A lot of sleep. And I did not notice it until Megan said the coffee was ready, and I threw my legs over the bed and went to put my shoes on. And what is this? It was a huge pee spill, because I put out a lot overnight. So this was a thing. It was a thing. But holy fuck, this is a mess. This is a huge mess. I don't think my pee smells very bad, and smell is my worst sense, so I never ever smelled it. So, but I never even came close to being mad at myself. Obviously, I was too tired. I made a mistake. I do. I make mistakes. Prolific. I make lots of mistakes. Yeah. And I'm wrong about people a lot. Estimate situations wrong. Life is always teasing me and sticking my nose in how wrongly I figure things out. Just when I think I've got doped out the way reality works, I don't. I'm always missing a piece. But do I get mad at myself? No. And who's the guy? Don Miguel Ruiz wrote the book, The Four Agreements, and the one that works the most for me and for lots of people is don't take anything personal. So when this morning my hostess, who's capable of being lovely and capable of being ferociously critical of herself and her dogs and me more and more, when she in so many ways sent a signal that said, isn't there some part of you that feels bad personally? And I gave her very sincere apologies, but no, it never occurred to me to not like myself over it or to be mad at myself. I never, ever, ever got mad at myself about it. Never. That's what has not changed. I've got my back all the time, even when I'm teasing myself. I've got my back. I treat myself good. And my host is suffering from autoimmune disorder, which I had never studied, never really known people with before now, and trying to get my hands around it. I think it has something to do with not liking yourself, something to do with not feeling safe with yourself, which now I'm safe with grief, really safe with grief. I can hold grief, I can cry, I can see my anger, I can see other people, I can hold almost any feeling somebody else has, which I couldn't as a therapist because I still was afraid of my own bad feelings from sex abuse. Yeah, I'm not afraid of any of that stuff. I'm not afraid of her desire to punish me. No, I just see it. I just watch it. I just watch it and think to myself, well, the dance you have with your dog or your big dog, you give him so many rejecting messages, so many angry messages that she's desperate for your love. So she's going to keep coming at you obsessively because she can't relax. She doesn't know that she is loved. And it's not just that her life revolves around you, like usually with the master, it's that her life revolves around, is she going to be nice to me? Because she so often is not. So much of the time she's not. And when I said to my hostess this morning, you never stop. You never stop. You won't take a breath. When she said to me, there's urine on the floor, we got to clean it up. And I said, babe, it's been there all night. I'm going to have my coffee first. No. She had to jump. And I said, when I finish my coffee, I'll do any kind of scrubbing, but I'm having my coffee first. And I said to her, you will not stop. And she says, it makes me anxious. I get scared when I stop. I said, until you learn to look that devil in the eye and say, I'm stopping, you shut up. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm going to stop and take a breath and start to heal, because you can't heal until you stop, face it, stop. You can't. But now I'm like nothing but stop. I stop, I stand up and say, well, let's stop now. And I walk by. This is so incredibly green out here. It's so beautiful. So well, let's pop in that room and look at that. Let's look at the mariposas, the little moths, butterflies. Let's listen to the birds. Let's breathe. Let's feel. And I also said to her this morning, I don't have any chronic pain. When the nurses in the nursing home and stuff ask me, what's your pain level? 0 most of the time. Now, I've gone through some hellacious pain in the course of the last 3.5 months, but not for a while, really. So at most of the time, I have like 0 pain. That's interesting. I'm not at war with myself is what I'm noticing. I'm not. I don't like myself. I like the sound of my own voice. I do. I like the sound of my voice. I don't mind if I pick my nose while I'm shooting a video. No. Temperature feels really great. Really great. You want to hang out? I'm in a good mood. You could hang out with me. It'd be good. No, you might like it. Okay. Not for now. But I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to sit here and feel the breeze.